hopping off a plane to a Mac. 100-time plat, bulletproof, the tires run flat. Cut throat, I give him one chance. I done gave him one band. 25 cars, one man. Driveway like a mini dealership. He went sour, cut the business with him. Crack smoker, I was living with him. Weird, I ain't dealing with them. Overseas, they love it real. She don't like it, but she deal with it. Rari's back to back, that's tough. Heroes round the corner, that's us. Putting on stuff, this just flip phone black.
Ooh, you see the tape. I'm excited about this one, Ava. Welcome into the In Off the Bench podcast. My name is Jim Cross. I'm joined as always by Ava Garza. We got a special one tonight, but you saw the video, Ava. Draft day or draft days coming off. We had 38 In Off the Bench guests take the next step in their journey. Couldn't be more excited for them. And then obviously that leads into now this week. We're excited to have an amazing list of guests. But before we do that, we got to plug the sponsors. Chinook Cidery, 8 flavors, mild to wild, the best in the game. Less salt, no sandpaper tongue. Ava, have you tried any yet?
Honestly, no. I'm gonna try.
All right.
I've never caught it in a dugout, so it hasn't really been on my list of to-dos, but I'll add it and I'll get that done over the summer, so I'm ready to go for the season.
And then I need to, as I plug the next sponsor, I need to get you and Allie both set up with the Jesus One apparel. So that's on me. I'll get that set up tomorrow. But Jesus One apparel, empowering young men and women to show their faith. I'll be honest, I have an Ole Miss one, and I went to put it on, but couldn't find it, so I had to go with the powder blue and off the bench shirt. It's not a bad backup. And then, of course, Old Dominic Distillery in the heart of downtown Memphis, whiskey, vodka, bourbon, gin. They got it all. But enough rambling. Ava, welcome on our guest.
So today I'm really excited. We get to welcome on Hudson Calhoun. Welcome. So Hudson, can you tell us a little bit about where you're from?
So, I'm from a small-ish town in Mississippi called Tupelo. We've had some pretty cool guys come from there, like Hunter Elliott and Mason Morris. But I grew up in Tupelo. I went to TCPS when I was really young, then switched over to Tupelo Middle School. And then I moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and went to a school called McCallie. But Tupelo was awesome. I didn't know Mason Hunter as well, as they kind of were a couple grades above me. But I met a lot of cool people in Tupelo, and I'm very thankful for my time.
And outstanding news today, Ava, for Ole Miss fans. Hunter Elliott, as he mentions him, coming back for his senior season. Their leader out there on the bump. Coach Bianco's got to be fired up today, huh, Hudson?
I was fired up myself. And spend another year with Hunter. Truly amazing guy. Really an amazing leader, too. I would really cherish every second I got to spend around him. I didn't really think there was going to be another year that I was going to get to spend with him. But, that was the best news all day that I've heard, getting to spend another year with him. I was pumped.
So, Hudson, let's just say I happen to take a trip back to your hometown. What are a couple of things that I have to do?
In Tupelo? I don't know. You can go see Elvis Presley birthplace. You can go see there. There wasn't a ton to do in Tupelo, I'd say that. Maybe you can go play at Tupelo National, the country club, go play a little golf.
All right, what's the must do in Chattanooga then? Because I know there's a lot to do in Chattanooga.
Oh, Chattanooga is awesome. So we would go to Blue Holes all the time. So go on hikes and get to go to a little creek, and then be a waterfall. You got the two mountains of Signal and Lookout. That was also just awesome. And then the food there, I remember that just being really good. There's a bunch of dog parks, and I was a big dog person. We had a bunch of dogs on campus, so we would always go there. If a teacher needed us to house sit a dog, we would do that. Good golf, of course, but the sightseeing, the lakes, Chattanooga had it all. I love Chattanooga.
So, Ava, he went from, there's not much in Tupelo to there's a lot in Chattanooga. So it seems like a nice move, in my opinion.
Can't be mad about it.
Can't be bad about it.
So, Jim, whenever I was looking through the run-through, I was like, okay, Mom was a college golfer. I did my research because I know sometimes you like to catch me off guard with questions. But, Hudson, your mom was a college golfer, so do you golf too?
Yes, but fun fact, it's really hard for me to golf with my mom. We went the other day in the summer, had a little extra time, and we're all shooting. We looked at our scorecard, and I think I shot, probably 15, 16 over, not the best golfer. We look at hers, and it was 2 over. We're just man, you haven't played in 10 years, and you're shooting 2 over. So it's hard to play with her a little bit just because how good she is, but, it's awesome.
Some healthy family competition.
Yeah. She's got that one. Golf, she can have golf, though. That's fine.
What's dad's go-to?
I mean, he likes to play golf too. He always tries to go back and forth with my mom, but no offense to my dad. I think my mom's going to beat him too. But he's trying. He's really trying.
So we got to talk about your hometown a little bit, and you mentioned that you did go to Macaulay where you played and you thrived for 4 years. But I see you were an FCA leader as well. So how much has your faith kind of played a role in, like, just personally in sports?
Yeah, so I got brought into FCA by some upperclassmen. He was a football player. His name was John Cole McAdams. He played at a football in Texas at Trinity, and really awesome guy. I kind of fell in love with it my sophomore year, and then ended up tearing my UCL my junior year, and that was big for me to fall back on. As I tore my UCL, I went through kind of like the unknown. Didn't know if Ole Miss was going to keep me committed there or what was going to happen, because it's not like I was already in college. I had a trainer. I had to kind of do it all on my own with the rehab. And so I fell in love with that. And then my senior year, John Cole came up to me and asked me if I wanted to lead it and be president of it for my senior year. I was like, man, absolutely. Like, I'd love to do that. So we would do it, meet every morning, 7 a.m. On Fridays. And usually I try and help out with breakfast. Like, we would get with the coordinator and bring some breakfast for the guys. But that was like my favorite thing ever, was being part of that my senior year.
Perfect. So ultimately you did choose Ole Miss. So what about Ole Miss made it the place for you?
It's always kind of been a second home. When I was in Tupelo, I grew up coming to the games because my mom's just a massive Ole Miss supporter because she played golf here. And so it always felt like a second home. My sister went here. And then it was always a dream, but when I started going through the recruiting process, I really didn't know, like, if I wanted to play at Ole Miss. Didn't know if I was really good enough, like my freshman year. And then sophomore year, I started to grow, throw a lot harder, and just be a better baseball player. And I had these opportunities I was very thankful for. And then Carl called me, and he was just like, man, this is the place you want to be. And so I pulled the trigger, and I committed to Coach Bianca.
So, Ava, I'll tell you, because obviously you love LSU, right? You love Baton Rouge.
I do. I really
So
do.
you can look on any list, and basically, depending on the list, either Ole Miss or LSU will be one or two as far as how beautiful the campus is, the tailgate, and everything. So you have a pretty good idea of what it's like for Hudson when you go to Oxford, because, like I said, whether it's one or the other, you're 1A, 1B, it's beautiful down there. Hospitality is absolutely amazing. And, I want to talk to you about the Hudson. When you get there, it's not just sports. It's academically, it's the culture. What was it like that freshman year when you got there? Did things click when you got there, or was it, did you go through some difficulties?
I mean, obviously, every freshman, you're going to go through a lot of difficulties. It's never smooth sailing for a freshman. And I tried to tell them that this year, and they're like, man, like, this is the best place ever. Like, I'm just happy to be here. But there's always, hardships. My fall, didn't have the best fall my freshman year. But I had some bright moments, had some really down moments, and then didn't end up pitching a lot my freshman year. But, it just correlates to my favorite Bible verse. I put it on my freshman year glove just because I knew it really wasn't going to be easy. But it's Romans 5, verses 3 and 4. And I can't say it word for word. I'm sorry about that right away. But it goes along the lines of just saying, like, we have to take glory in our sufferings because sufferings produce perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. And hope is like one of my favorite things of all time because it just gives you just something to look forward in the future. And I feel like you need hope to keep going. And I remember looking at my glove my freshman year when I wasn't pitching or wasn't doing well. And it's just part of it. And I needed to go through all those troubles my freshman year to become the pitcher and the person I am today.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's basically the foundation of John 16:33 and what Jesus one's about, right? You're going to go through trials and tribulations. It's about understanding that, Christ has already won. And so you're going to be okay. And Ava's roommate was actually our last guest. She's a LSU volleyball player. And she talked about that as her freshman. She's coming off her freshman year. And she talked about that just like you did, Hudson. She went through some troubles and just realizing that at the end of the day, it was going to be okay. But I'd ask, as far as baseball, what's the one thing you learned most your freshman year, regardless of playing time?
It was really being patient because, it's really easy, when you don't play, like, I want to get impatient. I want to do all this stuff to try and get back on the field, or maybe even man, I want to jump ship. Like, this is not the place for me. It was just really being patient. Of course, you know, when you don't play like that, it makes you not really feel as motivated, or baseball isn't really that fun anymore. And for a time, like, I mean, it was like that. Like, it was felt more like a job than a hobby. But it was just patience. And I was at Pine Lake the other day, and the pastor delivered a great message about patience and just, you know, praying every day. And like, it's not going to happen right away. Like, God's not going to give it to you right away. And sometimes He might put in a lesson. Like, if you're asking for patience, He's going to give you a bunch of events in your life to see if you actually can build patience. And that was one thing I think my freshman year really described.
Yeah, some of the best stories that I've seen, like one that comes off the top of my head is Trey Lipscomb from Tennessee, who's now playing with the Nationals. I don't know if you're familiar, Hudson, but he had to sit freshman, sophomore, and junior year. Good enough to start on 90% of teams in college baseball, obviously, but had a first-team All-SEC guy in front of him. But he waited his time, ends up, you know, finishing second SEC Player of the Year voting by only Dylan Cruz. And obviously took him less than a year to work his way all the way up to an MLB team. So the patience works off. And I like seeing guys who don't just automatically jump to the transfer portal, don't automatically just give up, because you went to Ole Miss for a reason. And obviously you feel like it was the place for you. So I had to give it time, and it worked out. You know, you end up having 21 appearances this past season. I got to see you in person. I wrote these down. It was Memphis, Little Rock, Tennessee, Auburn, Vandy, Georgia Tech. So I got to see you a ton. 5.11 ERA, 37 Ks, which I felt was big because you were averaging 2 Ks to 1 walk, you know, basically 2 strikeouts per inning you were coming in. But I want to talk to you about some of these games. And the first one's going to be a hard one because it's interesting. Ava, this is going to be the most interesting dynamic. And I was actually talking to my buddy on the phone about this game and telling him that I was going to bring this up to you, Hudson. But the most amazing thing that I think takes place in college baseball these days is it's called Kids Day. And what they do is they bus in all these kids from all over the Mississippi area, Ava, and there's literally like 5,000 to 8,000 kids, not even making this up. And the place is packed, and you don't have, you know, people being mean. You just have kids who are excited. And so Hudson's getting to pitch on that day, but unfortunately, by the time he gets to come in, the kids are having to be bussed out because, you know, school's coming to the end of the day. They can't come check out all those. I don't know what happened to him right when I was doing that.
I know you're doing good. You're on a roll.
Sorry, I totally cut out, but I was at the.
I'll be able to edit that in. I'm gonna finish saying what I was saying, but you know, Hudson got the bad end of this because all these kids got to go home, Ava, and the dynamic shifted when he comes in to pitch. It went from all these kids who are energetic into it to crickets in the stadium. Like, how weird of a dynamic was it for you, Hudson, to have a packed stadium to all of a sudden you're out there on the bump? And I know that y'all really aren't supposed to focus on the crowd, but it had to feel different because all of a sudden it was empty.
I mean, it's a lot different. The timing's way different. I mean, that game starts at 11 a.m. You're there at 7 a.m. And then you already, like, it's a tiring game just in the sense of what you have to do before the game. Like, you have a bunch of kids just yelling at you, asking for these autographs. And for some of them, like, that's their only time ever at Ole Miss game. So you don't want to be the guy that, you know, goes around, like, got to focus on the game, big league. You know, like, I try and talk to as many of them as I can. And so you're kind of, I mean, a little fatigued, but I mean, it's an awesome thing. Like, you're not going to complain about that. And I come in that game, I sat in that bullpen for a while, came in the ninth. I didn't have the best game, but the atmosphere, like, you feel it sometimes, like, especially in certain places. But I mean, it's a college game, and you're going against some of the best in the country. So I mean, that Little Rock team was really good. I mean, they ended up.
Did you expect that to? You know, as an LSU fan, I was there that day, and obviously I thought y'all were a way better team. It just happened the way it did. But then I see them in Baton Rouge, and I'm like, holy crap, that's the same team.
Yeah, no, they were legit. Like, that was like a really good team, and they hit the ball well against us. Like, they deserve all the credit. I mean, they beat us that day.
No doubt. Well, if you're going to have a good performance, you know, Ava's getting new to this baseball scene. If I was to tell you anything, Ava, I would tell you, if you're to go see a game that's not LSU, I would tell you the number one game on my calendar every year that I go to is Ole Miss, Mississippi State. This series means everything to these two teams, to their fan bases, to the state. And he goes out there and has his most dominant performance of the season, allows no runs, has 7 Ks. How good did it feel to have that game against that team?
So a little backstory on that. I think that came I didn't pitch that weekend series before, and I know I didn't do well in the midweek before. So I was just dying to get in that game. I was like, man, I need to prove myself again. Like, I just need to get in the game and go perform. And it happened to be against Mississippi State, which I didn't really even realize at the time. I just wanted to pitch. I just really wanted to play. But, I mean, that felt awesome. Being a Mississippi kid, going against your arch rival, a team I've not liked my entire life because I've always been an Ole Miss fan. That was awesome. And that was a game. It's a weird way to describe it, but that was a game I know, like, I was in the zone. I wasn't really focused on anything else, but, throwing strike one, then strike two, getting ahead. That was like a weird just game for me just because I was kind of focused on just like winning the game rather than, man, this is so cool pitching against Mississippi State. So.
Well, clearly you needed that moment, and it was a stepping stone, launch pad, however you want to look at it, to get you through the rest of the season. Because I get to see you again in Hoover going against a Vanderbilt team that was on fire, and you were absolutely electric on that stage. What was it like, man? For me, Hoover is so cool. You got all these SEC teams there, you got all these fans there. It's a different environment. It's competitive, but it's also like fun. Everybody's excited to be there. What was it like to pitch on that stage and have success?
It was just a really not like a big time moment for me, but I remember going through the recruiting process when I was uncommitted, playing at Hoover Met, like in a championship game and like some PG event in Hoover. And we got on a rain delay, and my friends and I, we just went and explored like every little thing of Hoover, like all the little stadiums, because everything was unlocked. And I was just like, man, like I really want to play here one day in the SEC championship. And I got to do that. I got to come in and pitch. And it's kind of hard to notice. I think I ran out the bullpen with my head down. I didn't want to see all the fans around. But it's pretty cool, especially in the dugout. Joel, actually, I was sitting in the tunnel. This was after about first or second inning of work. And he just comes up to me. He's like, do you realize how cool this is? I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm trying to win a game here. Like, we need to come back, and I'm trying to pitch and win this game against one of the best teams in the country. Ended up being the number 1 seed. And he pulled me out of the tunnel and made me sit on the top step and like look around and see all the fans and all the.
There wasn't an empty seat.
Not an empty seat. And he was just like, you need to enjoy this, like take this in and just go for it. And I was like, man, like I really want to get back to the tunnel. It's kind of hot out here. Let me put my cold tower back on. Let me lock in for the game. But I'm glad he did that for me because that was like a moment, I'll never forget.
Yeah, no, the Hoover and obviously Omaha, there's these places that you want to just, especially like you said, as a kid, you wanted to be there. You definitely just want to take it all in. That's why I tell the guys when they do make it to Hoover, or not Hoover, but when they do make it to Omaha, like don't take it for granted. Like, you never know when you'll make it back or, what opportunity may arise. And so I feel the same way about Hoover. You'll obviously take it to the championship game. Like you said, that Vandy team was really, really good. If there was any team that I was surprised by that lost at home in their regional, that was the one. But speaking of that, I was there in y'all's regional. This team was really, really good. Y'all had tremendous growth all year. Obviously, it didn't end the way that we expected or the way you wanted, but do you feel like this season was still a success for you guys as a team?
I mean, yeah, like 43 wins, like it is really hard to win 43 games in a regular season, no matter who you play. And the fact that we did in the SEC, I think is really good. And the fact that this team, was projected 15th, all that, everyone kind of just counted us out and we proved them wrong. And then the fact that we could have even been better, like we lost a lot of games by 1 run or games that we could have won, the coin flip games that just didn't go our way. I mean, this team was really special and we could have done a lot of damage. And that's what really hurt about it is because we knew like how good we really were, how close knit of a bunch we were. I mean, I loved showing up to the field every day with these guys. Like it really hurt me the fact that the next day, like not everybody showed up. We weren't playing at home for a super regional. But yeah, I mean, it's still a success of a season. Yes, it doesn't end the way you wanted to, but only one team will walk out the whole season happy, and that's the national champions.
Yeah, no, because I got the lineup card signed by the whole team, and I was showing some Ole Miss friends the other day, and I was like, man, like I really, really liked this team. And I said, especially coming off a team the year before where it just chemistry issues and everything, right? And this team didn't feel like that. Felt like a legit brotherhood. It felt like sky was the limit, even though it did end the way it did. But let me ask you something going into next year. You're a bullpen guy, but is that something that is the plan to stay? Or is fighting for a weekend starting job something that's a possibility?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. But the way I look at it is, you have a guy like Mason Morris who was a bullpen guy all year, and he was our highest draft pick. But I mean, of course, starting on the weekend's really cool. But for me, like, I really just want to win. My one goal is, like you said, I want to get to that moment where I can sit on the top step in Omaha and cherish that moment and take it all in. And my one goal is to get to Omaha because I really want to experience that as a player. I've never been as a fan, never went when I was younger. I don't know if I'll go if I'm older because I just want to experience it as a player.
Maybe when you go, it won't be so hot, right, Ava?
Yeah, it was a shock. It was really hot.
It was her first time. It was my fifth time, but she
that.
found out it's brutal.
I thought I was prepared coming from LSU, but I thought wrong.
You know what's funny though, Ava? When you talk to the guys playing, it doesn't bother them as much, and it's because they're playing for a championship. We're sitting there watching it.
Yeah.
We're obviously excited to be there as fans, but yeah, we don't get a ring when the whole thing's over if we win. So last thing I want to ask you, and then I'll let Ava play a game. I wanted to talk about the pitching arsenal. Usually Daniel gets to do this as a former pitching coach and pitcher, but what all do you have in the bag? That way going into next season when me and Daniel watch, we can know what we're looking for. What all pitches do you have?
So it's good. The main pitch, everyone's main pitch is probably going to be their fastball. Fastball is going to be a ride fastball, just because I used to be a sinker guy, and then Joel and I talked about what's going to help me the most. And I tend to spin my fastball pretty high. And so sinker didn't really work out because kind of went lower spin, so kind of bowling ball in the zone. So kind of changed the way I move a little bit, got me a little more tilted. So it's more of like a high ride fastball and then a cutter, but metrically it would be more of a slider, but I have to think cutter so I can throw it hard. And then a big sweeper and then a changeup.
Yeah, no, I knew about that cutter because that's where I say Daniel's, knowledge is more meaningful. There's a lot of times I'll get that confused when I see it. And even sometimes when you see some of these sweepers that are added in, I don't pretend to know, I wasn't the guy who was a pitcher, and all these things that y'all are doing right now with the baseballs, it's just crazy. Obviously changing around the grips, doing these different pitches. I don't know if you watched the Pitching Ninja, but him breaking down is what y'all do with the baseballs insane. That's why anybody who still argues, Hudson, that anything's harder to do than hitting a baseball when it comes to sports is crazy, man. What are we talking about here? I couldn't even just hit your basic fastball, let alone your cutter.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I remember the day I decided I was not going to hit in college is I faced a really good pitcher that ended up getting drafted out of high school named Travis Sequoia in the travel ball circuit. And he threw me 3 pitches. Of course, I struck out on 3 pitches. It was 98, 98, and then a slider at 88. And I was like, I'm never going to be the guy that's able to hit. Now, I think I put the bat down after that game. So.
Nice. Go ahead, Ava.
Okay, so you got lucky. You're in luck, Hudson, because they're not making you blind rank. They made me blind rank whenever they interviewed me, and they got me good. But lucky for you, we're just doing a this and that situation. So I think you got it. Are you ready?
That sounds good. I'm ready.
Okay, so sunflower seeds or bubble gum?
Sunflower seeds.
And then, so let's say you're going hunting. Are you hunting deer or ducks?
Definitely ducks, because you got to think deer, you're by yourself. Yes, that peace and quiet's nice, but usually if you're duck hunting, you're with some buddies, you're in a blind. Yes, it might be really cold, but duck hunting.
Yeah, I had to ask that one, Ava, because I saw on Instagram he had pictures of killing both. So usually there's one that they prefer over the other. Me, I prefer fishing. I can't kill Bambi or these innocent ducks.
I can't fish for the life of me, dude. I just can't.
I'm not a good fisherman, so fishing's kind of out the equation.
Fishing, you don't even got to be a good fisherman. You just got to go to the right spots.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was tired of me asking too many questions about fishing. He was like, put the reel down, you're done.
What's funny, Ava, we talk about that LSU culture. My daughter didn't want nothing to do with fishing anyway. She goes down there that first semester, makes friends with a couple country guys, and now she comes home wanting to go fishing. I was like, I see the impact that we got down in Louisiana.
Yeah, my dad was like, you have to figure out what to do with the deer after, because after the first time, I'm not helping you anymore. I was like, please don't do this to me. Don't do that.
Deer meat is phenomenal. I'm sure, Hudson, are you one of those that always has a freezer pack full during the winter?
Usually, I don't really own any land myself, but been blessed to meet a couple buddies that do. But my host family, when I played in Kenosha, were big time hunters, and they always had deer meat with them. And I'll be in the bullpen, just not pitching that game in Kenosha, and they'd bring me some deer jerky and some cheese, and it was awesome. It's really good.
He ended up with the right host family. Nice.
Oh, absolutely. I got so blessed with them.
Yeah, we have like an outside freezer full of deer meat right now. So you already know. So if you have to pick beach or are you going to the pool?
So I know a lot of people would say beach in that aspect because everyone kind of loves the beach, but I'm definitely going pool just because not a huge fan of sand. I feel like it just kind of gets everywhere.
He
But,
is my people.
Cool.
Everybody says beach. I'm a pool guy. I don't want nothing to do with the sand.
I feel like that's very controversial, but I'm definitely going to go pool. Bring some buddies along to the pool. I think it's way better. You can do everything kind of at the beach that you can do at a pool. So I'm going to go pool.
I agree with that answer. So Oxford or Chattanooga?
That's tough because I'm in Oxford currently. I don't want to make anybody mad, so I'm going to go with Oxford, especially during football and baseball season. But if I had to pick somewhere to live, like maybe when I'm like 40 or 50, I'm probably going to go to Chattanooga.
Okay. It's a nice promise for Chattanooga. We'll be bringing Hudson back.
I mean, I knew, because I've been there once, Ava, and I've wanted to go back since. Like, when we talk about beauty, like in the area, like when he's talking about those mountains and everything, like I could just live out there and be like an old person that just sits on their porch and like looks out every day. Like, it's nice.
It's not a bad view to look at all.
Not at all.
So if you're striking someone out, are you doing it via fastball or off speed?
Fastball. I mean, fastball is way more fun. Trying to rear up, throw as hard as you can, definitely going fastball.
Okay. And then uniform pick, powder blue uniforms or creams pinstripes?
So if you have asked me freshman year, another controversial kind of thing, I would have gone pinstripes. But we wore pinstripes because our jerseys all didn't come in for like the first 16 games of the year my freshman year, so I got kind of tired of them.
Yeah.
So now, if you ask me now, I'd have to go powder blues.
Okay. That makes sense.
And it's a tough one because they have one of the best uniform kits in the country.
I was going to say that. I was like, they have some really good uniforms. Mm-hmm. Like,
the thing was, Ava, on the powder blues, they used to be unique and be the only ones that really had them. Now everybody's trying to imitate them, and so there's like 6 or 7. And I'll see these posts by these different college baseball sites saying who has the best, powder blues, and it's like, stop. The originator has the best.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that statement a lot.
And then last question, would you rather win the national championship or be the #1 pick in the MLB draft?
I mean, win the national championship. That's a no-brainer. Like, because usually if your team's that good, a lot of guys are going to get drafted with you, and that's the better feeling than going number one overall.
We always used to say, first pick in the draft, right? But we actually had Skeens come on here before the draft, and so, when he was just got to LSU and said the national championship, and then we had him on after he was the #1 pick on our other show, and we went ahead and asked it again. And he doubled down and said he would still keep his national championship. And so when we've actually now had a guy who did it, I can't really argue it anymore because I always felt like the answer is the #1 pick because, that comes with $10 million signing bonus and everything. But you hear these guys, just the blood, sweat, and tears and everything that comes with it. You just can't replace the national championship. It's not about the ring or the trophy, right? It's everything that comes with it.
Absolutely. And then when you come back to Oxford, let's say in 10, 15 years, you be with your teammates, you're really your best friends, and enjoy the time with them later in life. You enjoy the time now when you won the national championship. I'm sure if you asked Tim Elko, Kevin Graham, all those guys the same question, they'd go with win the national championship every time.
Man, we were talking about that team earlier, and obviously, as a fan, that team, for whatever reason, it just wasn't clicking. That was the #1 ranked team for a reason at the time. It's absolutely stacked. And so I always laughed at the idea that people were like, they were like a Cinderella. And it's like, that's not a Cinderella. That was just a team that took time to figure out who they were because they were absolutely the best team when the season started and just kind of got lost along the way. But when it all clicked and, we had the guys on here to talk about it, and it all was kind of the same thing, Hudson. Once they got into the tournament, like it was like everything was easy after that because, they felt like they were playing with house money.
Absolutely. And I mean, a thing I remember thinking to myself, especially when the regional started and after we lost to Murray State, I was just, if I go into a game, like, yes, I'm pitching for a regional. Yes, it matters to me, but I don't want to be the reason that I'm playing my last game with guys like Hunter Elliott, Mitchell Sanford, Luke Chang, Humphrey, like all these seniors and grad guys that have meant so much to me over this past year. Like I wanted to play as many games with them as possible. And I think that's what they probably felt a little bit like it's their last ride. Like you might as well just go give it your all.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, since speaking of these guys coming back, seeing that Austin Foley will be back, how many? I'm gonna put you on the spot right now. How many home runs does Austin get next year?
Foley, man. So I would go with. I think he's gonna hit a good like 25. I don't want to go 30 because no one hit 30 last year. Conlon was a beast. Like Calhoun was a beast. But
no, it showed this year that year before was a little different because there was a lot of guys that were getting projected to hit 30 this year and nobody did it.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, Foley's a great guy. We were accounting buddies together, so we had a bunch of classes together. We'd always work hard together. But the big thing about Foley, I mean, yes, the power came along. He hit 20 homers, but he's really good behind the plate. He's stolen so many strikes for a whole pitching staff this year. Like, I'm more pumped having him behind the plate than, of course, 20 homers is nice, but having him behind the plate.
Well, I bring up the home runs because the home run derby is currently going on right now for the MLB. And when they were talking about they wish there was a college home run derby, which, man, I would do it. I'm telling you right now, ratings would be through the roof. I gave the 8 guys that I would want to see it, and I had Foley in there as one of the 8. So, when you hit 20 plus and you hit him the way, he doesn't hit any wall scrapers. He doesn't shortchange
bombs. Beautiful swing, perfect for the launch angle, bombs.
Yeah, I had him and obviously you're familiar with Fisher, which when we talk about the projections, he was the guy I predicted to get 30. He only got 25. It's definitely hard to do, but we could do this all day. But one day, Ava, they will bring the college home run derby back. I'm telling you, ratings.
I'd love to see it.
I hope so. It would be awesome. Like that would be huge. That would be really cool.
Would you want to be a pitcher for one of your boys and throw them those perfect little seeds?
I mean, I would try. I don't know. That would kind of hurt my ego a little bit, seeing all these balls flying over the fence.
But it can't hurt your ego because if they're hitting a lot of home runs, that means you're doing your job.
I know, but still, like, I don't know. I don't know if the pitcher in me says no, because even like you'll feel it. I worked camp like 2 weeks ago, filled in for a day. I was just trying to throw BP to the kids, but every time they barrel one, that kind of hurts the heart a little bit. Like, man, I'm not supposed to do that.
I mean, I wouldn't want the job because I learned just from doing my son's coach pitch team, when you got to put the ball like and throw little darts and for strikes, like there's some pressure with it because they're relying on you to be good. Like it's not like pitching the way you do.
Oh yeah, I know. It's throwing BP is a lot harder in my opinion. Like just throwing that ball like in the perfect spot, and you can't throw it too hard, you can't throw it too slow. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not like a full effort pitch where, you're kind of used to doing that. So,
no doubt. Well, before we cut you out of here, man, anything you want to plug, promote, anybody you want to shout out?
I mean, I really don't have anybody to shout out, but I mean, Ole Miss Rebel fans, we got Hunter coming back. Big news today, and I think it's going to be a great season next year.
Absolutely. Look forward to it. Ava, we're going to see you in Oxford at some point.
You'll see me this season. I'm convinced. I even wore red today, so I'm feeling pretty –
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm pretty good.
Ava, you got anything you need to plug or promote? We got any things from Houston we need to be looking out for?
Nothing much. I'm just excited to see where all my friends are going with the whole contact date thing happening with football. So I'm excited for the season.
Well, as always, you can check out all of us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Go like, subscribe, share. We got all the content on YouTube. We'll have Daniel back. I don't even know who the guest is going to be, Ava, but with talent switching out. But we'll have somebody. We'll do it up. But in the meantime, check out Hudson's story. Hudson, man, we appreciate you coming on here. Wish you nothing but the best of luck. If you need anything along the way, man, just holler at us.
Perfect. Thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Absolutely. That is Hudson Calhoun, everybody. If you like hearing his story or you just like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like, share, Facebook, all that good stuff. I'm not going to ramble like Daniel does, Ava. All I know is we'll be back this week. And in the meantime, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We are out.